if you can do the 70-10-10-10 rule, it helps a lot because you're constantly saving money. So your, emergency fund or nest egg is growing, and then you're constantly giving money. I think it's this universal truth or this universal law that money, it's just money. And it's not meant to be blocked up and held and not to do anything with, because like currency, if you think of it, is the same root word as the current of a river. And if you've ever seen a river that gets blocked up and it comes in one end and then it doesn't trickle out the other end, there's no current. It just stagnates.
Welcome to another episode of The Financially Free Investor, where you will learn information and strategies on how to become financially independent by investing in real estate, something that is not taught openly in our society today. Financial freedom matters so you can live a bigger life, retire early, and do what matters most to you. Get ready to hear tried and true methods to becoming financially free with your host, Jordy Clark.
Hey everyone, welcome into another episode of The Financially Free Investor. Today, I wanted to talk about something that, when we were first starting our path to financial freedom and financial independence, we used a variation of this. So I'll get into kind of what we did after I explain. But I wanted to keep this short and sweet, under 10 minutes or so, for a couple of reasons, but mostly because, I definitely want to be sensitive to your drive time and get that you're probably listening to other podcasts. But here we go. So today is a financial principle I want to talk about. It's a rule, actually, and it's a way that you can guide your finances in such a way that you can start wherever you're at on your financial path. You can start today to make steps and progress towards becoming financially free or financially independent. And I learned this a long time ago. So it's called the 70-10-10-10 rule. So basically, if you take your income and, just for easy numbers, let's call your income $10,000 a month. Okay. 70% of it, you're going to use to live on. So that's going to be, your mortgage, your normal expenses, your car, your gas, your property taxes, your income taxes, everything. Okay. 70%, you live on 70%. 10%, so $1,000 a month, you save. Okay. So you save 10% of your income. You give 10% of your income. That can be to whatever charity you choose. For Courtney and I, most of what our giving consists of is we give it to our church. And I'll get into that aspect. If you don't go to church or don't pertain to a religion, that's okay. And then the last 10% is meant for you to stash away and put in an investment account. And that could be a savings account. You put 10% of your income into a savings account that's earmarked especially for your next real estate deal. Because you guys know I love real estate. That could be, you could split that 10% up however you want to invest. If you do stocks, if you do bonds, if you do mutual funds, if you do ETFs, if you do, real estate syndications, if you do single ownership real estate, if you do partnership real estate, however you choose to invest, 10% of your income should be going into that. So, and I actually think that this kind of principle, is much older than where I heard it from. Where I heard it from originally was Jim Rohn. So Jim Rohn goes over that, and you guys can look into that more and listen to it. But a very similar principle was in The Richest Man in Babylon, if you've read that book. If you haven't, I highly recommend it. I'll probably do a recap of it sometime in the future. But at any rate, hey everyone, just a quick minute. This episode is brought to you by our show sponsor, EVA Solutions. EVA Solutions is a virtual staffing company that provides a hassle-free experience when it comes to finding the right virtual assistant. From sourcing, interviewing, qualifying, onboarding, to monitoring your VA, they have it all covered.
They understand that your business is unique, and so are your virtual assistant needs. That's why they offer high-quality virtual assistants that are customized to fit your specific requirements and needs. They have a team of experienced and professional virtual assistants who are experts in a variety of skills in different industries, including customer service, administrative support, data entry, property management, social media management, and the list goes on. If you sign up using the link, you'll get a $200 off for full-time VA service for the first 6 months. So go to show notes, click on the link, and EVA Solutions has your back. If you're looking for a VA, if you're looking for an assistant, they will knock it out of the park for you because they do it for me and my businesses.
If you can do the 70-10-10-10 rule, it helps a lot because you're constantly saving money. So your, emergency fund or nest egg is growing, and then you're constantly giving money. I think it's this universal truth or this universal law that money, it's just money, and it's not meant to be blocked up and held and not to do anything with, because like currency, if you think of it, is the same root word as the current of a river. And if you've ever seen a river that gets blocked up and it comes in one end and then it doesn't trickle out the other end, there's no current. It just stagnates. And if you've ever been hiking in the mountains or just gone past some pool of water that it's been sitting there for a while, nothing has come in, nothing has gone out, usually what ends up happening is it starts getting gross. It starts getting bacteria. It starts it's not drinkable. Even the animals won't drink it. It just kind of gets blocked up and plugged up and mucky and murky and just not healthy, right? Versus if you think about like a mountain spring or a little mountain lake that, it has inflow coming in and it's got outflow going out. That's kind of how I look at money, and especially giving it, right? Like we can't just expect to always receive money and not give any of it away. So, I think that it's such an important thing that we realize. And I think part of the reason it's a universal law is because we have to, as humans, be okay giving it up and donating it and putting it somewhere else that's not selfish. And at least what I've seen in my life is when we kind of stick to that and we give 10% or more, we end up getting a lot more than we've given. It's this interesting thing. So I think that's important. And then the 10% to invest, and this could be modified a couple of different ways. Like currently Courtney and I, a big thing we've done for the last couple of years, and we'll need to sit down as it gets closer to the end of the year and kind of look at next year, but 10%, instead of us saving 10%, because we already have an emergency fund, we got enough savings or liquidity that we don't necessarily have to, like if I go without income for a year or 2 or 3, I'd be okay. And I don't say it to brag, I just say it to kind of prove that this system works, because essentially it's what we followed. So the 10% of, call it savings, is super important until I think you hit a place where you've got maybe 6 months of your living expenses, you've got stuff set aside, and then I kind of look at that and we take that 10% now and we invest it into ourselves. Now, how do we do that? Well, I'm a part of GoBundance. Courtney and I joined Couples Mastermind for the last 2 years. I'm in Strategic Coach. I have a coach for our real estate sales team just to help us, help more people buy, sell, and invest real estate in the greater Wasatch Front. It's been interesting because we're saving the money, right? Because we're putting it into something that can never be taken away from us. So that's kind of how we've looked at it. And the knowledge truly can never be taken from us. How we grow, who we show up as, who we become, can't be taken away. We can go bankrupt today, and that's okay because it's just money. But what we've learned and how we've learned to manage what we have and how we've learned to get to where we are, that knowledge can never be taken away, and we can go and rebuild financially if needed. And so that's where we chose to pivot a few years ago and started investing 10% of our income in ourselves. In addition to, we continued to give 10% and invest 10% in properties. And if you're sitting there going, well, gosh, Jordy, I could never live off of 70% of my income. Well, let me give you a little different formula. And when we very, very first started this journey, it's probably 6 years ago or so ago. We did the 97-1-1. And it could be, 99 and then 0.3, 0.3, and 0.3, right? But I think the important thing is that you set up a system and follow a system. It doesn't have to be this one. This one just worked for us. And, I'm just encouraging you to take a look at it and see what that would look like with you and your significant other, or if you don't have a significant other, that's okay too. But, we started at 97% of our income was our living expenses. Because if you've heard other episodes, we were living at our means. We were actually living beyond our means. And so for us to cut back to 97% was a big deal. But we started, saving 1%. And it doesn't, you think, oh my gosh, like 1% of my income, right? So we'll call it $10,000 a month in income. Well, 1% of 10,000 it's like $100. So you go, Jordy, gosh, saving $100, really? It's not going to do anything. Well, no, it's not, but it's the principle and it's the habit. So the fact that, you give $100 a month, you save $100 a month, and you figure out how to invest $100 a month, what it's going to do is you start doing that for 6 or 7 or 12 or 13 months or however long it is. And all of a sudden that's become ingrained in you and it's a habit. And you go, okay, I think we can cut, this, or we can do this to add income, or we can do this to minimize our expenses. And you start playing that whole game, and all of a sudden, you maybe free up so that it's, 93, 3, 4, or whatever it ends up. And, then eventually you go where it's, some mathematical same thing, right? Where it's like 80, I can't do math this fast. 777 or whatever. 70, 10, 10, 10, that's kind of the goal to get to. So if you can't get there today, that's okay. I would just say work towards it and do what you can to get there, because it's a powerful principle. It's obviously worked for decades and decades. If Jim Rohn did it, and he taught it, I'm sure someone taught it to him, 100 years ago. And, I'll just leave you with this, guys. So Benjamin Franklin once said, take the money in your wallet and invest it in your mind. And in return, your mind will fill up your wallet. And, that quote is really what led us down this path of self-development that we started a few years ago, and investing 10% of our income in ourselves in self-development. And it's very true. Like, once you have the knowledge, it can never be taken from you. And I'm so grateful to, be an influencer, help, or whatever it may be in your journey towards financial freedom. Because I think once you get there, then things start getting really cool, because you start living a life on purpose. You start having a fire. You start being able to affect change, not only in your life, but in lives of people you care about. And I think we do a disservice to ourselves if we sell ourselves short on a lot of this stuff and don't. And we keep living paycheck to paycheck. And at the end of the day, like, we can't take any of it with us when it's our time to go, yet it helps everything in life. So with that being said, guys, like I said, I wanted to keep it short, quick, 10-minute or so podcast. The 70-10-10-10 rule is a phenomenal way and tactical way for you to jump into this journey of financial freedom. And remember, it doesn't have to be those exact numbers. The lower you can get your living expenses compared to your income just means you're going to get to financial freedom quicker. So with that being said, guys, I would absolutely love if you could leave us a 5-star rating and review. If you could subscribe, if you haven't already subscribed, if you could share this with somebody who needs to hear this, or if there's another episode that somebody needs to hear this message, please share it. With that, I'm signing off. Thank you for joining me for another episode of The Financially Free Investor. If you found value in this episode or know someone who would find value in this information, please share with them, subscribe, and send us a review.